DeSoto. My name is Latoya Fondren, and I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here for the city. And this is another episode of the Loving Her Story series, where we feature amazing women in our DeSoto community and allow them to tell their story. So today, I have another very special guest. Her name is Rolanda Brigham. How are you, Rolanda?
I'm fine, thank you. Very happy to be here.
Oh, happy to have you. So, first, I want to start off by saying again, thank you for being here. I want you to tell your story. And as I always tell you all, the amazing women in our community can tell their story better than I can. So, Miss Rolanda, tell us your story.
Well, I am a retired actress. I grew up in Dallas, went to Arts Magnet High School. I'm one of the first four-year graduating class. Went off to college in Santa Fe, New Mexico, went to graduate school at the University of Kansas, and went back to Chicago to seek my fortune as an actress. And I worked for Marx Brothers Corporation, solving accounting problems for 328 stores every day. Um, did acting, regional theater, voiceover, print ads, commercials, movies. I even did a stint on Broadway. And unfortunately, my only sister became ill with terminal lung cancer, and they gave her 6 months to live. And so I said, okay, I need to go home and take care of my sister. So I sold my condo, quit acting, and came home because my goal was to make the quality of her life as great as I could make it for whatever time she had left. So I came home and I did everything I could, and I was smothering her, and she said, go volunteer for the city of DeSoto. Just come on, give me a break, give me a break. And I was like, no, I want to just be with you. And so finally, I went and volunteered for the city of DeSoto because Hurricane Katrina had hit. And so I came as a volunteer. And after 2 days, they said, well, we want to hire you as our FEMA caseworker. And I was like, well, I have to take care of my sister. And they're like, she's right down the street. So I took on the position, and it was my job to transition 107 families. I had to get every family out of every hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, and the city of DeSoto, interview them, get them crisis counseling, get them their Texas Medicaid card, get them shelter, get them food, to just transition them and get them a place to stay. And we did that here in the city of DeSoto, from Mayor Hurt all the way down to the maintenance staff. We embraced these people and got them apartments, fully furnished apartments. We furnished them, got them everything they needed, and around 45 to 50% of them stayed here in the city of DeSoto. And I continued to work. And I said, well, afterwards, I just needed to get away. So I moved to Frisco. And you don't miss the well until the well runs dry. In Frisco, I missed the love that I had experienced here in the city of DeSoto. So sold my house in Frisco and bought a house here in DeSoto, 5 minutes around the corner from my sister. So I'm still there with her. Her cancer has since gone in remission, but it, keeps coming back. So she's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. And just began working and doing arts around the city, and started my own 501c3 organization, Empowering Through the Arts, EDA. I came home and I sat down and I turned on my DVR, and Etta James was singing At Last. And I'm like, all I want to do is empower through the arts. And I kept saying ETTA. And I said, oh, thank you, God. And that was my sign. And I haven't looked back since. We've been doing arts enrichment in the after school programs in DeSoto, in Dallas, in Grand Prairie. and just blessed by the best, I must confess. And now, after 20 years, I am now the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Manager for the city of DeSoto, because in DeSoto, there's so much to love. And I love this city. Once you live here and you go away, you don't miss it until you leave it. And then when you come back, it's so much more special.
Wow, Miss
And that's
Rolanda.
my story.
Wow, that is an amazing story. Like you've done so much up until this point. So you've been teaching, a teaching artist for over 35 years in total in the Chicagoland and throughout the entire DFW area. So you've been inspiring kids, teenagers, like our elders, like you've been inspiring everyone of all ages and you've been exposing them to the arts. So can you, and as you mentioned, you're also a retired actress. So you've done
Yes.
national commercials, voiceovers, industrials, regional theater, as well as Broadway.
Yes, ma'am.
So, since you've done so much throughout your career, who or what inspired you to get into the arts?
Well, I come from a family of artists. I'm the youngest of six, and two of my older brothers are some of the most incredible artists. My older brother, William, he would take me to college with him and exposed me to college and the arts. And growing up, we all went to the same elementary school, R.L. Thornton. So we all had the same teachers. And my brothers were the best artists in the school. They painted all the backdrops, they painted murals on the walls, they just painted everything. And I was just in awe of them, not because they were my brothers, which made me in awe of them, but because of the magic they were creating. We would come home, and for Halloween, we didn't have a lot of money, but they would make the best Halloween costumes and dummies and make scenes in the yards. And um, I was really shy. And I found my voice in church because being the youngest of six, I was taught you let everybody else speak. And then when it comes to you, you have to wait your turn. But by the time it got to me, I forgot what I was going to say. So I said, well, here we're on a level playing field in church when we had to memorize speeches. And my brothers would do things like Jesus wept or Amen. But I said, I'm going to memorize the longest one so that I'll have a longer time to talk. So my favorite verse was, suffer little children to come unto me and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of God. And I loved it because my parents were all happy and smiling, and everybody in the church, they were smiling. And as I grew up, I said, well, they have this new art school. And my brothers encouraged me to go there because they were all athletes. And I'm not an athlete. I couldn't outrun anybody. I couldn't do any of that. So I went to BT, aka Arts Magnet, and found my voice. And I said, I'm not alone. There's so many more like me here. And we were the original Fame before Fame even came out. And so I'm a product of that 4 year graduating class. I'm the Frankenstein monster that they created, but I don't call it a monster. I'm a creative person because we learn to think from the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. But we couldn't perform unless we kept our academics up. So we had to be 150% academics and then 150% arts. And so we learned to meld those two together. And that has served me well in my lifetime because I know how to prioritize, I know how to multitask, I know how to turn the corner on one thing and pick up on the next. So,
Wow. So,
and the arts saves lives.
it saves lives. So, what does art mean to you, Rolanda?
Art is healing. Art is it's life, it's love, it's the vibrancy. When I look at a glass, it's never half empty. It's always half full. But then I see the waves in the water. And then I see the different colors in the rainbow. and I see all of these types of things. We had to get a nature object, and we had to use that nature object for 4 years. I had a piece of petrified wood. At the time, I didn't understand, but I created a poem. I made a dance. I created a sonnet. I created music. I I see art in everything because art, it's beautiful, and it's my passion, and it helps heal and soothe. And there's so much going on in the world right now, so much negativity, but for me, I can always find something positive through the arts.
So why is it important to bring the arts to our community, to the DeSoto community?
Because DeSoto cares. I found that out firsthand when Katrina hit. And when all of these amazing people came here from New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and they brought their culture here. And despite everything they had gone through, they still saw the arts, and that was their way of navigating through the crazy. And here in the city of DeSoto, it continues onward. And to go out and just see a colorful trash can on the corner, it just makes you smile because it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. And a smile is just a frown turned upside down. And DeSoto is. We don't want to be, we are. We don't aspire to be like anybody else. And this tight knit community is, you can walk down the street and wave at somebody and they'll wave back. If you're raking your leaves and the wind blows them out, they'll come help you get your leaves up. It's small town feel where people actually care about each other. And that's, the arts saves lives and the arts bring people together. And that's what I want to do here in the city of DeSoto because we deserve it.
Wow, Miss Rolanda, that is so powerful when you said that people they look out for each other here in the city of DeSoto, and that is very, very true. And when you bring the arts into the mix, it just fills up a love cup so much more. So can you talk about the DeSoto Artist Lab residency? So for our residents that may not know what is the DeSoto Artist Lab residency and what will it do for our community here?
Well, the DeSoto Artist Lab residency is a program where the city, it was a competitive program. We had around 18 to 19 artists submit proposals, and 10 were chosen from different art disciplines. And I'm going to put them all throughout the city of DeSoto to make the arts come alive. We have a ventriloquist. She may be at the Grow DeSoto Market. She may be at the Senior Center. She may be at the library. We have a photographer who works for the Huffington Post in New York. And we're like, wow, he's going to be a photographer, maybe in the libraries, maybe with the schools, maybe with the Senior Center, maybe strolling all around. We have dancers. We have fashion designers. We're infusing arts into a community that's already great. We're enhancing what we have. We're taking it to the next level. And these artists will be doing this from April through the end of September. And at the end of September, we do a major showcase to showcase all the work they've done. And they work with the seniors, they work with the youth, they work with everybody here in the city of DeSoto, and their services are free of charge because they have been given a grant. And this is our second year, and we are so excited. We are so excited about them, and the energy is just bustling, and
They got a glimpse of it. The first episode, Miss Linda Lee, the ventriloquist. If you
yes,
saw that first episode, you got a glimpse of just many of the talented artists that you have, right? And
yes.
so how can residents sign up for these classes?
Okay, well, we'll be doing programming at the senior community. We'll be doing senior and youth programming at the libraries. We will be in Grow DeSoto Marketplace. We will be in Parks and Recreation. They can go to the website and just look up DeSoto Artist Lab. and we'll be putting out more flyers, informing the public who's doing what. And we also will be having flamenco, salsa, and bachata dance classes and sessions. Yes, 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 with Mr. Daniel Cordova. So you can come out and get your salsa on.
Hey now,
Woo-hoo!
that sounds so exciting. So, Miss Rolanda, you are bringing so much excitement with the arts here to DeSoto, and we're so excited to have you here. So, my next question for you is, tell me about a memorable experience, and I'm sure you have plenty of them, but tell me about a memorable experience in your career and what made that memorable experience stand out to you.
Well, I was working at Pegasus Players Young Playwrights Festival in Chicago at Truman College. And I said, well, I want to give back. I'm going to go teach a playwriting class across the street at the college. And I went in and I taught this class, and I was so excited because the kids were so receptive. And I asked the principal, Mr. Thomas O'Hale, I said, is this the honors class? And he's like, well, no, don't you know what this is? I said, yeah, this is the college. He said, no, we're in the middle college. I said, okay, it's the middle college. He said, where are you from? I said, Texas. He said, no, Miss Brigham, this is the alternative high school, and your students are alternative students who have been kicked out of every public school in Chicago. So we have the worst of the worst here, and they just came to your class, and we're just astounded. And it blew me away. I had no idea. I thought these were the honors kids from the college, when these were kids from the alternative high school, and that totally changed my life. That totally changed my life. I said, I'm going to spend my time working with these students and transitioning them because they have a need. And I was there to fulfill that need and fill that void and let them know that they are somebody and they can be more than selling drugs on the street or doing all the different things that they were doing. And I ended up in Chicago with the Lakeview Educational Arts Project. We wrote off and got the Annenberg Challenge Grant, $3.5 million to implement our methodology into targeted schools. And I used these kids from Truman Middle College. I said, if you can stand upside down on a train track, and they were called taggers, and paint this beautiful mural, then you can come and take some art classes and learn how to do that and do mosaic tile. And we can send you to architectural design schools and things like that. And that's what we did. And these kids are now doctors and lawyers and CEOs. And that changed my life. I was still gigging at the time, and I would go to court and beg the judge to get them off house arrest so that they can come back to school. And if they could come to the set with me, and I would bring them to commercial sets and print ads and everything. And I'm like, these are my students from the alternative school. And I'm like, and they're here to hold my purse. And the kids were just so excited to see everything that happened behind the scenes and that somebody cared enough and believed in them. And that changed my whole life. And that's where the arts and education started coming in. And I'm like, and I haven't turned back since, because there's love and there's vitality in everybody. And I told my students, if you conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. And I'm like, yeah. And that was the big turning point in my life, where it was no longer about me. Before, it was all about me. But after meeting those incredible students in Chicago, they changed my life and the trajectory of my life. And I'm a better person for it, because the arts saves lives.
So, what would you tell your students today? The students whose lives you have changed, and you continue to change people's lives.
I would tell them, I told you. I told you. You didn't understand it at the time, but I told you. Believe it. Believe in yourselves. And each one teach one. You have to pay it forward. You know, someone reached out to help you. Now you in turn reach out and bring somebody else up.
Wow.
But I know they're already doing that anyway, because they're like, Miss Rolanda's going to show up and catch me.
So, Miss Rolanda, there's plenty of things that I'm sure you've learned throughout your career as far as life lessons. But can you share with us one piece of life advice that you can give us today?
Everybody's talking about respect. You give respect to get respect. And that's it. Everybody wants to be respected. You meet people where they are. You don't try to push somebody down to build yourself up. You give respect to get respect. And I don't care if it's the maintenance staff. I don't care if it's the homeless man on the street. You give respect to get respect. And that's my life lesson.
Wow, that's a really powerful life lesson. Wow, I am just infatuated by all of your history and your story, and I can already see the colors and just the vibrancy that you are bringing more of that to the city of DeSoto. And so there is something called the DeSoto, Texas Cultural Arts Foundation, and I'm still learning about this myself. Can you tell us what is this?
Okay, may I?
Yes, yes.
The DeSoto Texas Cultural Arts Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit foundation that we're in the city of DeSoto in the process of establishing. We've put out flyers for residents to come and apply for the board. Once the board is seated and they seat the president, vice president, treasurer, all of that, then we can adopt our bylaws and our articles of incorporation. And what this is, we're dissolving the DeSoto, Texas Historical Foundation and the Arts Commission, but we're combining those two into the DeSoto, Texas Cultural Arts Foundation. So we're merging the Historical Foundation and the Arts Commission because the history of DeSoto is so vitally important and we can never dismiss that. So we're melding them together, and we're making the DeSoto Texas Cultural Arts Foundation. And with that, we'll be able to get grants to continue to facilitate more incredible things and art projects for the city of DeSoto. And we're very excited. There's still vacancies and people can still apply.
And they can apply on the city's Facebook page and our city's website, right?
Yes, ma'am. Be the change that you seek. So many DeSoto residents, they have a voice. And through the DeSoto Texas Cultural Arts Foundation, we're giving them a vehicle in which to express themselves. You want to be a part of it? Join the board. Be the change that you seek. Because they have something to say, and we're here to give them a vehicle in which to say it and express themselves. So, yay for the city of DeSoto, and I'm so excited to be a part of that.
That is so exciting. I can't wait to see what happens when the board forms together, when it's implemented. Oh my goodness, Ms. Rolanda, you're making me want to jump out my seat. You have so many great things coming to the city. And so I have one last question for you. And I'm sure this sounds familiar to you. Education builds communities. The arts saves lives. What does your mission statement mean to you?
Well, first, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to be educated, not just in book sense, but common sense. And once you get that, and then you bring the arts in, I'm a foundation builder. I believe that whatever you build, you have to have a solid foundation. And once you have your solid foundation, whatever you build will stand. And education is the foundation, is the building block to everything. You get your foundation, and then everything you build will stand. Like we're building Nance Farm now. We're turning Nance Farm into an artist hub to house the DeSoto Artist Lab artists, to be a place for DeSoto residents to come and watch the sunset, take an art class, take a watercoloring class, do yoga. Um, it's our foundation. And if you don't have your foundation, whatever you build will crumble. And like I said, for me, education is my foundation, and the arts are just the incredible building blocks that will make it stand this way and that way and that way. And then when the rain comes, that's what it means to me. And I'm so blessed and fortunate to be in a city like the city of DeSoto who cares. I live here. I pay taxes here. I work with my neighbors. I work with everybody here. And you can't, for me, I could not have picked a better city to plant my roots in and to build my foundation in this next phase of my life. Because in DeSoto, there is so much to love. And that's not just words, that's not just talking out of the side of your neck. That's true. That's real talk because DeSoto cares. We may not agree on everything, but we have the opportunity to disagree. And that's what makes us wonderful. You can agree, you can disagree, but that keeps the dialogue moving and moving forward as opposed to everybody agreeing on everything. You know, you got to shake it up sometimes. And like when you're making Kool-Aid, if you just put the sugar in and try to drink it, it's like, ooh. But if you shake it up a little bit, then it gets dispersed and it's like, ooh, it's so much better.
Wow, that's amazing. I would love some of that Kool-Aid. Well, Miss Rolanda, I know I told you I had one last question, but I lied. I have one more.
Okay.
Can you expand on the amazingness that is going to happen with Nance Farm?
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Nance Farm is being transformed into an artist hub. We will have a small amphitheater. We're shoring up the house, the barn, the curing shed. We're adding additions. We're adding more parking. We're adding another entrance. We're adding an open air area where you can sit at tables. Then we'll have 4 buildings in the back, 4 studio buildings. There will be a kitchen. There will be a place for artists to take showers. I'm so excited, and we plan on breaking ground in 2024. Our RFPs are already out there and RFQs, and we're so excited. This will be the premier spot in the city of DeSoto. There will be walking paths, uh, benches, places for artists, places for us to have arts and crafts fairs, farmers markets. You may want to have a retirement party there, graduation party, a small wedding, um, chamber music festivals, all kinds of things like that. And it will not impede on the residents because we will have this beautiful, beautiful, big fence that I envision the artists painting murals all around it. And it's our little hidden jewel. And it brings the history. There will be historical landmarks all throughout with not only the history of Nance Farm, but the history of DeSoto, because the history of DeSoto is so important. In order for us to move forward, we have to know where we came from. And, we're going to have it where everybody can know who we are and where we came from and where we're headed. So we're very excited about Nance Farm.
Wow, thank you, Miss Rolanda, for sharing that. And I just want to thank you again for being here today. And you are the perfect person for this role. You are breaking ground on the foundation of continuing the arts while continuously including the history of the city of DeSoto. And I just want to commend you, Miss Rolanda, because you are an amazing person through and through. I sit by Miss Rolanda every single day. We share an office, and when I tell you how she talked about inspiring people of all ages, she truly inspires me. And that's why I chose you as one of our inspiring women to feature for this series. So Again, Miss Rolanda, I want to thank you so much for being here, for telling your story, for telling us the plans that you have and more love that you're bringing to the city of DeSoto and why the arts is just such a beautiful thing, and excited for our residents to see everything that you have coming forward. So thank you for taking the time to be here today. Thank you, DeSoto, for watching on this episode of Loving Her Story series. If you check out the city's website as well as all of our social media platforms, please apply for the DeSoto Texas Cultural Arts Foundation so you guys can continue to help us progress forward and Miss Rolanda with the arts. And Miss Rolanda, is there any last bit of words that you'd like to say to our residents?
Excuse me. Yes, believe in yourself the way the city of DeSoto believes in you, because together we can create the magic. We can't do it alone. We need your voice. We need your input. When we put things out there for the community to come in and voice their opinions, we welcome your opinions because you are us. We are one. If you conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it, because in DeSoto, there is so much to love.
And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on our next episode of the Loving Her Story series. Have a good day, guys.